30 years ago was a landmark time for the British motor industry. Rover unveiled the first truly successful and independent fruit of its Honda partnership, the R8 Generation 200. And what a success it was too. It did everything it needed to do, all while coming in significantly under cost of developing a whole new fresh model as a result of co-developing with the Honda Concerto. None of which explains why I'm found at Lucknam Park Hotel. 30 years ago to the day was the original press launch for the R8 200. That's right, journalists and press from magazines and TV of the day were invited to Lucknam Park Hotel to test the R8 when it first came out. And in what we think might be a world first, the Rover 200 and 400 Owners Club are recreating the original press drive. It's the same location, the same specs of cars that were there on the day, even some of the same staff who were working at Rover and even at the hotel at the original 1989 press day. This is something which, as our resident R8 fan, I couldn't pass up. So I've come down in our 216 SLI, yeah, that's the very same car that we took to Land's End and that I championed as my winner on that trip, and I've come down to see what it's like to experience a 1989 press day in 2019. The hotel was bustling with gorgeous examples of R8, Rover staff, enthusiasts and journalists who attended the original launch. Inside was a collection of original magazine reviews, and we were treated to a recreation of the original press briefing, with some little anecdotes from back in the day thrown in.
Journalists didn't have to go and feed Twitter and Facebook and all the rest of it as they do the minute they walk through the door these days. In that era, you came along, you sat and chatted, you took the pictures you wanted outside, you had your drive all very leisurely, and then in the evening, of course, we had a really good opportunity for socialising, chatting about the car, which went on all night, literally on some days all night. I can remember having bacon sandwiches at 4 o'clock in the morning because the Scots didn't want to go to bed, but lots of drink as well. The northern group of motoring writers, there were a couple of journalists here who really were the worst for wear when they went to bed at some early hour of the morning, and I had a phone call from the porter, night porter, twice on the northern group visit. One was, will I come down and identify a body they'd found outside, and that was a guy called Fred Manby, who was the Yorkshire Post motoring guy, who'd walked out of the back door to go back to his little cottage outside and collapsed, and he was asleep in the bush outside. And another guy, good old Jeff Rumney, he went to his room. He got up in the middle of the night to go to the loo, went into what he thought was his bathroom, door closed behind him, but he actually walked outside, stark naked, and couldn't get back into the room.
But those journos were driving a special car.
Here we had a very versatile car, hatchback, a bit different for us, but all the ambience of a Rover. Debut, of course, of the K-Series engine, which was an interesting departure in itself. There was a lot of talk about what we should be doing about power units in the company. It was only because Harold Musgrove insisted that we got the government to agree to us being able to design and build K-Series. And that was revolutionary for us. It was a revolutionary engine. I don't think there's another one from a volume car perspective being made with long bolts since. Now we're talking here about a family car, and I think when you go through the specs here and you go through seeing how this car was built up, it was a bit special for a family car to receive some of these features. Remember, it's 1989, 13 body colours, all clear coated. Now that was something that was unusual at the time as well, because solid colours tended to be just paint. This process clear coated everything.
It was a face form steering wheel, so it was kind to your face when it hit it.
Catalyst option. I mean, wow. So we were starting to think about, the Americans were pushing emissions quite hard, and it was starting to come over here that we had to start thinking about emissions.
Vehicles all the way up to the 150 mile an hour Tomcat Turbo, Rover 200 Coupe. It really, in many people's opinion, was the pinnacle of the Honda-Rover relationship. Honda learnt a lot from Rover, and Rover learnt an awful lot from Honda in that relationship, including how to build high-quality cars. Longbridge proved it could. The car was very well received. What Car of the Year in 1990, I think, for the 89 launch. And numerous awards all the way through its through its life, including the derivatives that were launched.
Tech talk done, now let's take a look at the launch specs that were available on the original press drive. So here are 4 particularly important R8s, a 214 SI, a 214 SLI, a 214 GSI and a 216 GSI, and these are important because these are the 4 specs that were actually available on the original launch. And when you see how gorgeous condition these R8s are, yeah, this is about an authentic as an R8 experience as it gets. The car, the location, and what we're about to do is the drive. You heard correctly. Equipped with a replica of the 1989 press pack, we then took the cars on the original press drive route, designed to show off the R8's comfort and handling. With Director of Product Communications Dennis Chick and PR Manager Kevin Jones on board, we hit the road. Flowing the Rover down twisty country lanes and bumpy roads was a joy. No matter the situation or driving style at hand, the R8 responded ably, smoothly and comfortably. We think of the R8 merely as a family car, but when you spend time with the people involved with it, the people who drove it when it was new, and the people who love it to this day, when you get a feel for its abilities, you realise what it did for Rover, and you see it gaining genuine classic status 30 years on, you realise something. The R8 really was Rover at its greatest.